The rest stop on Theta 9. James Rourke was tired. Not the kind of tired where sleep helps. The kind of tired that sat deep in the bones. The kind that comes after fighting for your life too many times, after traveling through too many war-torn systems. He just wanted silence. Peace. Sleep. His small ship landed on Theta 9's surface gently. It was a green moon, full of tall trees and fog. No cities. No noise. Only wild nature and fresh air. Exactly what he needed. He stepped out wearing only a light survival suit. The cool breeze brushed across his face. Bird-like sounds echoed in the distance. He looked up at the strange sky where two moons slowly moved across purple clouds. This place was empty. Good. He just needed a few hours. Maybe a night. James walked a little into the forest. His scanner beeped once. The air was breathable. No known threats. Still, he kept a knife at his side just in case. He found a wide tree that looked older than time itself. Its roots were thick. Its bark shimmered faintly under the twin moons. Something about it felt calming, like the tree welcomed him. He set up a small camping mat and lay down beside the tree. His eyes closed in seconds, but someone was watching, not far from him. Two glowing yellow eyes studied the human. From the shadows, Karaya of the Moonclaw pack crouched low among the tall grass. Her fur shifted with the wind. Her claws tapped lightly against the ground. She sniffed the air. He smelled strange, like metal fire, and yet also like something old. Something meant to be. Karaya narrowed her eyes. No one had ever dared sleep under the heart tree before. Not even her warriors. It was sacred. Their prophecy said, whoever slept under the heart tree would awaken the old bond. The bond of souls. She stepped closer. James stirred. His eyes blinked open slowly. He expected silence. He expected fog. He did not expect a tall, muscular, wolf-like creature staring down at him. She stood nearly 7 feet tall. Her fur was dark silver. Her ears twitched. Her eyes glowed bright. Gold. And her tail moved slowly behind her, like a flag in the wind. James blinked. His mind tried to make sense of it. This was no wild beast. She looked intelligent. She wore armor made from bone and crystal. And she was sniffing him. She leaned closer. "You smell like mine." Her voice was deep, rough, but strangely feminine. James sat up fast. Whoa, wait. What? Karaya stepped even closer. Her nose touched his cheek. She growled softly like a purr. "You are the one. The one I saw in my dreams." James stood. He stepped back. "I'm just trying to sleep. That's all. Nothing else." Karaya tilted her head. "You claimed the heart tree with your rest. You called to me in your sleep. Now we are bound." James stared at her. What was she talking about? Was this a dream? Some alien drug? He looked down at the ground. That tree. He had no idea it was sacred. Then it got worse. A loud howl echoed through the forest. From the trees, dozens of shapes began to appear. Wolf-like aliens like her. All taller than humans. All armored, all armed, and all staring at him. Karaya turned to them and raised her clawed hand. "The bond is real. He has chosen me." James looked at the group. Then at her. What bond? What choice? One of the males stepped forward. His fur was black as night. His claws longer. His armor heavier. He bared his teeth at James. "That one was mine," he growled. "The human has no place here. He must bleed for this insult." James took a step back. He looked at Karaya. She stepped in front of him. Her stance wide, protective. Her voice was sharp like thunder. "Touch him, and you challenge me. The prophecy has spoken. The crowd went silent. James felt his heart race. This was not rest. This was chaos. And he had no idea how things got this strange, so fast. He looked at Karia again. She was still standing between him and danger. Her tail flicked. Her breath steady. Then she did something strange. She grabbed him gently, lifted him up like he weighed nothing, and howled into the sky. Her pack howled back. The forest echoed with sound. And James, still confused, still tired, realized one thing. He wasn't going to get any sleep tonight. The ritual. Bond. James woke up to soft breathing beside him. His eyes opened slowly, and there she was, Karia, the strange wolf alien who declared him her mate. She sat close. Her head turned slightly as if guarding him even while resting. Her fur glowed faintly in the rising sunlight, and James didn't know whether to laugh, run, or ask for coffee. His thoughts raced back to last night. The howling, the other aliens, the black-furred one who had wanted him dead. Karia had protected him. But why? He sat up. Karia opened her eyes. They were sharp, watching, measuring. You slept deeply. She said in a calm tone, "That is good. It means your bond is holding." James blinked. Bond. He rubbed his face. What bond? She stood up slowly and stretched like a giant feline. Your spirit touched the heart tree. That tree is sacred to my people. Only a destined mate can rest beneath it without being torn apart by its energy. You did not die. You dreamed. That means your soul chose me. James rubbed his forehead. I didn't choose anything. I just wanted to sleep. Karia tilted her head. Her expression was unreadable, but there was a tiny twitch in her lip. Almost like a smile. You are lucky. Few are brave or foolish enough to sleep under the heart tree. But it listened. And I heard you. James stood up. His boots pressed lightly against mossy soil. The fog had lifted. And now he could see the full beauty of Theta 9 trees that shimmered, birds that floated instead of flew, but also dozens of alien eyes watching him from the forest edge. Karia looked toward them. The pack is waiting. We must complete the bond ritual before the sun set. Or your body may reject the link. Reject the link. What does that mean? James felt a chill. What kind of sci-fi mess did he walk into before he could ask? Two large aliens approached. One carried what looked like a cloak made of soft white fur. The other held a wooden bowl filled with glowing blue dust. James stepped back. What's going on? Karia turned to him. Her voice was low. You must wear the bond cloak and walk the spirit path with me. Only then will the others accept you, and only then will you live past tomorrow. James narrowed his eyes. Live past tomorrow. From the shadows, the black-furred male stepped forward again, his teeth bared, his claws tapping stone, his voice a growl. This human cheats prophecy. He stole the place of warriors. He smells like weakness. I challenge his right. James opened his mouth to speak, but Karia moved first. She stepped between them, her muscles tight, her tone cold. He did not steal. He was chosen. And I stand by him. If you challenge me. The male's eyes narrowed. You would throw your strength away for a soft-skinned outsider. Karia bared her teeth. Her next words shook the trees. He is not soft. He is mine. The pack howled in surprise. Some in support, some in rage. James felt like his knees might give out. This wasn't rest. This was madness. Still, something inside him sparked. A fire. He had been through war. through pain, through fear. And now this was just one more strange battle. He reached out, took the white cloak and placed it over his shoulders. The fabric was warm alive, like it recognized him. The blue dust was handed next. Karaya took a pinch and rubbed it across his forehead. The moment it touched skin, images flashed in his mind. A star collapsing, a wolf howling at a broken moon, a human hand touching an alien one. James stumbled, but Karaya caught him. Her eyes locked onto his. We walk together now, through fire or frost. Do you accept? James looked around at the pack. At the strange world, at the future he didn't ask for. But something told him. Turning back was no longer an option. He gave a small nod. Karaya's tail flicked once. Then she led him to a narrow path of stones glowing with ancient runes. They walked together behind them. The black-furred male growled, his hand closing around the hilt of a curved blade. He would not accept this bond, and in the shadows he prepared to kill the human before the ritual could finish. Trial of the Claw. The path of glowing stones led deeper into the forest. Each step James took felt heavier, like the air was thicker, like something ancient was watching. Karaya walked beside him. Silent, focused. Every so often she would glance at him, as if making sure he didn't collapse. James could feel it too. A pressure in his chest. Not fear exactly. More like something inside him was being pulled. The forest was alive in a way he didn't understand. They reached a clearing, a wide circle, surrounded by standing stones. The ground was marked with claw patterns and old bloodstains. Alien torches lit up one by one. The pack gathered around the circle. Some stood tall and proud. Others looked curious. A few glared at James with hatred. Karaya stepped forward and raised her arm. Tonight, he faces the trial of the claw. He must prove strength, not in muscle, but in spirit, not in rage, but in heart. James swallowed hard. Wait, I thought we were bonding, not fighting. She looked at him, her voice low. This is part of the bond. If you survive, no one will question you again. If you fall, I fall with you. Before he could answer, a howl ripped through the clearing. The black-furred male stepped into the circle. His body, bigger, stronger, eyes burning with fury. I claim the right to challenge. Let him fight. Let the old ways decide. James looked at Karaya. She didn't speak. She only nodded, then stepped back. The pack began to chant, low, steady. It echoed like thunder, a rhythm from a time before memory. The black-furred alien dropped his weapon. No tools, no armor, only claw and instinct. James stepped into the circle, his body tense, his heart racing. He had no weapons, no armor, just his mind, his training and the will to live. The challenger growled and lunged. James ducked, rolled, felt wind scrape his face as claws missed by inches. The alien was fast, stronger than anything he'd fought before. But James wasn't trying to be stronger. He was trying to be smarter. He led the challenger in circles, used roots and stones as traps, let the beast charge into trees, dodged attacks by inches and countered with kicks to the ribs, a punch to the jaw, a well-placed elbow to the throat. The pack grew louder. Some began to howl in surprise, others in rage. The black-furred warrior was bleeding, snarling furious. He charged again, claws raised high. James waited, then sidestepped and swept his leg. The warrior fell hard. James grabbed a loose stone, held it to the challenger's throat. He didn't push, didn't kill, just held it there, steady. The crowd went silent. Karaya stepped forward, her voice calm. He shows mercy and strength. He has passed. The trial of the claw. James dropped the stone, stumbled back, sweating, breathing hard. The black-furred warrior lay still, staring up at the stars. Then slowly, he bowed his head. The crowd began to howl, not in anger, but in respect. Karaya walked to James, lifted his hand high. The bond is sealed by blood, by will, by survival. James stood tall, tired, but alive. Karaya leaned in, close. Her voice, a whisper. You are not like the others. You are more. James looked at her, still unsure what his future held, still confused. But something in her eyes made him believe he wasn't alone anymore. That night, the pack feasted, sung, danced. Under twin moons, James sat beside Karaya, watching, listening, his body sore, his mind spinning. Karaya handed him a drink from a carved bone cup. It was warm, sweet and burned going down. She smiled. You fought well. The others will follow. Now, James nodded, slowly. I didn't come here to fight. I just wanted to sleep. Karaya's smile widened. Then sleep well. Made of moonclaw. He laughed softly. For the first time in days, maybe weeks. He felt calm. But in the far woods, eyes watched. Not all were happy, and darkness still moved in the corners of the forest. The strange bond grows. James woke before the twin suns rose. Bird calls echoed gently through the trees. The pack still slept, some curled on thick leaves, others sprawled like wild animals after a hunt. But Karaya was already awake. She crouched nearby, sharpening a curved bone blade. Her ears twitched every few seconds as if tuned to sounds James could not hear. He stretched slowly. His body still ached from the trial, but he was alive. And, strangely, he felt stronger. More aware, like something inside him had changed overnight. Karya looked at him and nodded. Today we hunt together. You must learn our ways. The bond must grow, or it will break. James stood still, unsure what the bond truly meant. But something in her eyes told him it was real. A connection, not of blood, but of instinct, of survival. They traveled into the deeper forest beyond the pack's normal paths. Here the light was dim, the trees thicker, and the air full of strange scents. Karaya moved like a shadow, silent, graceful, deadly. James followed. He watched how she tracked, listened when she signaled, learned when she pointed to faint trails in the dirt. For hours, they followed a strange beast, something big, heavy, with 6 legs and fur like bark. When they finally saw it, James froze. It was massive, eating berries from a tree. Peaceful, but unpredictable. Karaya crept forward, signaled to split. James moved to the side, using trees for cover. He waited, breathed slow, trusted her plan. Then something snapped. Clicking sound, metal, sharp, hidden. Trap. Karaya stepped onto it. A sudden shriek filled the air as the device clamped onto her leg. She fell. The beast roared and ran. Branches shattered. James ran to her. Blood, or dripped from her leg. The trap was old, rusty, but strong. Karaya tried to pull it off but winced. It's poisoned. My leg. I can't feel it. James dropped to his knees, took out a small tool from his pocket, and began working on the trap. His hands moved, fast, precise, focused. He had done this before, many times in war. The trap snapped open. Karaya groaned. Her body trembled. James lifted her carefully. She was heavy, but he didn't stop. Didn't think, only ran through vines, over roots. He carried her in his arms. Every step mattered. Her breathing grew weak, her fur damp with sweat. James reached the pack boundary. Some wolves ran forward. their eyes wide. The human carries the huntress. One shouted. Elders appeared. He laid her down. They worked quickly. Used herbs, heat stones, whispers. James sat nearby, silent watching. Worried hours passed. Finally, Kauraya opened her eyes. They locked onto him. You saved me. Her voice was soft, unsteady. James leaned forward. Of course I did. She reached out, touched his hand. You could have left me, but you didn't. Even when I was weak, you carried me. He didn't speak. Just nodded. Kauraya gave a faint smile. That means more to my people than any fight. Even the young ones stared at you in awe. Later that night, a fire was lit. The pack gathered again. But this time it wasn't to test him. It was to honor him. Kauraya stood on shaky legs, leaned against a staff. Her fur braided with red feathers. She spoke in front of the pack. This human, this mate did not run from danger. He did not wait for others. He acted. He saved me. He proved that strength comes not from claws, but from courage. The pack howled in agreement. James sat quietly, uncomfortable with the attention, but also strangely proud. He looked at Kauraya and for the first time he truly saw her, not as a beast, not as a joke, but as someone strong, someone real. That night, as the fire burned low, she sat beside him. The bond is stronger now. Can you feel it? She whispered. James nodded. I think I can. She leaned closer and rested her head on his shoulder. Just for a moment. No one said a word, but many eyes watched, and many minds began to wonder. What happens when a bond between species becomes something more? The human among wolves. The days passed quietly, but not peacefully. James woke each morning to cold mist, and the howls of the pack. Kauraya was healing slowly. Her leg wrapped in herbal cloth, but she refused to rest too long. She kept training, teaching James the ways of her people. James now wore a fur cloak like the others. He had a name in their language, Tarhek. It meant brave heart children pointed at him. Old wolves nodded when he passed. Some even offered him fresh kill from their hunts, but not everyone welcomed him. The black-furred male. His name was Varn. He still watched from shadows, still spoke in whispers, still believed the human had no place here. James felt it. Every time he walked near the edge of the pack. Every time Varn's yellow eyes stared at him like fire, Kauraya noticed too. She warned James. Varn will not attack in the open, but he will wait. He will try to turn others. He will try to break the bond. James nodded. I can handle him. But he wasn't sure if that was true. One night, a stranger arrived, not a wolf, not part of the pack, but tall. Wearing black metal skin, pale like moonlight, eyes like glass. He walked into the pack's camp without fear. Without words, Kauraya stood to greet him. The pack growled, but some did not move. The stranger bowed slowly and then spoke. Your bond with the human has awoken an ancient echo, one that should have stayed buried. James stepped forward. Who are you? The stranger turned, his voice cold. I am a watcher, guardian of the forest. Truths, the bond you carry is not simple. It is cursed, made in war. Not in peace. Kauraya frowned. That cannot be. The heart tree chose him. The watcher nodded. Yes, but the tree only opens to desperate souls. And when two desperate hearts touch old things, Sir James asked, what kind of curse? The watcher looked at him. Your mind will become hers. Her instincts will become yours. You will feel each other's fear, each other's rage. And if either one falls too far into madness, the bond may pull the other with it. Silence fell. The pack didn't know how to respond. Some looked afraid, others curious. Varn smirked. James stepped forward. So what do I do? Break the bond. The watcher shook his head. No. You must balance it. You must become more than human. Or she must become more than wolf. He turned to Karaya. Your journey is not finished. The forest has one more trial. The moon's core. If your bond survives that, then it may become true. And with those words, he walked away. Back into the trees. Gone like smoke. Karaya sat by the fire that night. Silent. Her claws pressed into the dirt. James joined her. You okay? She nodded slowly. I never believed the old stories. I thought the bond was just a way to prove strength. But now it feels like it's real. Too real. James placed his hand on hers. We'll go wherever the moon's core is. We'll go together. She looked at him surprised, then smiled. Varn stood in the distance, his eyes full of fire. He heard everything. He would not let this bond reach the moon's core. He would break it, even if he had to spill blood that night. While the pack slept, Varn whispered to others, to the bitter, to the jealous, and seeds of rebellion were planted. James didn't know. Karaya didn't see, but danger was coming, not from the forest, not from beasts, but from within the pack itself. The moon fever. The next morning the forest was quiet. Too quiet. No birds, no wind, no howls. James opened his eyes to a strange silence. Karaya was already up, standing alone at the edge of the camp, her eyes fixed on the sky. He walked over slowly. What is it? She didn't speak, just pointed above the trees. The twin moons were red. James looked around. Even the pack seemed uneasy. Whispers filled the air. Old wolves murmured words he couldn't understand. Karaya finally spoke. The moon fever has begun. James blinked. Moon fever. What's that? Karaya turned to him. It's part of the bond. A final test. It only happens when the moons turn red. Only to bonded pairs. James felt a chill. What kind of test? She looked tired. We'll both see visions, memories, fears, regrets. If we survive, the bond becomes unbreakable. If not, we lose each other forever. Suddenly, her knees buckled. James caught her before she hit the ground. Karaya, her body burned with heat. Her eyes lost focus. She muttered strange words, names he didn't know. The elders rushed forward. They carried her to a shaded cave lined with moss. James followed, refused to leave her side. One of the old wolves placed a hand on his shoulder. You must go to the heart of the forest. Alone, bring back the core stone. Only its light can guide her mind back. James stood. Where is it? The elder pointed deep in the forest, past the cliffs, through the hollow trees. It will try to stop you, make you see what you fear. James looked at Karaya, her breathing fast, her body trembling. He nodded. I'll bring it back. No matter what. He ran through thick branches, across rivers, over slippery stone. His boots covered in mud and thorns. But he didn't stop. He passed statues, old, ruins, carvings of wolves and stars. Eyes in the trees watched him, but did not attack. Then the forest changed. The colors twisted. The ground pulsed, and James felt dizzy. He stepped into a clearing, and there he saw himself, not in a mirror, but real. Another version of him, broken, bleeding. Alone, you'll fail her, the double said. You're human weak. You don't belong here. James clenched his fists. You're not real. The double laughed. Neither is this bond. She'll turn on you, just like the others did. James closed his eyes, remembered Karia's face, her strength, her warmth. He walked forward, through the image, letting it fade like smoke. More visions came. His old squad dead friends. A burning ship. Screams from battles long past. But he kept walking, it last. He reached the center, a glowing tree. Its roots wrapped around a black stone that shimmered like silver inside, the core stone. He stepped forward, touched it. Pain shot through his chest. He fell, cried out, but didn't let go. Visions of Karia filled his mind, her laughter, her anger, her pride, and her fear of being alone. He whispered, I'm not leaving you. The stone pulsed and went quiet. He opened his eyes. The stone was in his hand. He ran back faster than before. Heart pounding, legs burning. He reached. The cave Karia was worse. Her body shaking, claws cutting into the dirt. James stepped in, held the stone to her chest. Please come back. The stone glowed warm. Bright. Karia gasped. Her eyes flew open, but they were different. Not golden, but glowing, silver blue. She looked at him and whispered, You really came back. He smiled. Always. The pack stood in silence. Watching Karia stood slowly. No pain, no weakness. The fever had passed. The bond was complete. James didn't understand how, but he knew it in his heart. They were no longer two souls. They were one, but behind the trees, Varn saw it all. And his rage turned to action. He would not let the bond last another day. Life mates, forever. The pack gathered beneath the twin moons. They howled not for war, not for death, but for something rare, something ancient, a bond that had survived moon fever. Karia stood tall beside James. Her silver blue eyes glowed gently in the dark. The core stone rested on a cloth near the fire, its light slowly fading, its duty complete. Elders approached and placed a new mark on James's cloak, a symbol of unity. Half claw, half hand, Karia looked at him with a softness few had ever seen on her face. You are not just mate, you are pack now. Forever. James smiled, still, sore, still, tired, but proud. He had earned something here, not through blood, but through loyalty, through care. The moment should have ended in peace, but it didn't. A sharp growl cut through the quiet night. James turned. Too late. Varn leapt from the shadows. Blade raised, eyes full of fury. The bond is poison. He roared. It turns wolves into slaves. I will not bow to. A human, Karia moved to shield James. But her leg still carried weakness from the fever. The blade slashed toward James's chest. But something strange happened. James didn't dodge. He felt her fear. Not heard it. Felt it in his bones. Like her soul shouted through his blood. He raised his arm. Blocked, since with his cloak, the blade tore through fur, cut into skin. He fell to the ground. Karia roared and pounced. Fangs bared. She slammed into Varn with full force. The two crashed into the dirt, rolling, clawing, howling. But the pack did not help. This was the old law. A challenge must end with one standing. Varn slashed. Karia bit his arm. He punched her in the jaw. She raked his chest with both claws. James tried to stand, blood on his arm, pain in his ribs. Karia was losing. Too slow. Still healing. He shouted, Karia, stop. Holding back. She looked at him, eyes wide. Then, calm. She closed her eyes for one breath and opened them with fire. With one final leap, she slammed her shoulder into Varn's chest, knocking him down, then placed her foot on his neck, growling, "A deep submit," she said. Varn coughed, struggled, but then slowly. He nodded. The fight ended, not with death, but with dominance. Karaya stepped back. Varn limped away, shamed broken. The elders nodded. The pack howled. The bond stands. James stood on his own now, bloodied. But smiling, Karaya walked to him, took his hand and held it high. She whispered, "Now you are not just mine. You are ours." The pack gathered around, voices lifted in a song older than time. A song sung only for true mates. James felt something shift inside him. Not just emotions, but something deeper. Like the forest itself accepted him now. Later, when the crowd faded and only embers glowed by the fire, Karaya sat beside him. She looked at his arm, wrapped it gently, and leaned her head against his shoulder. "You saved me twice. First from the fever, then from myself." James chuckled. "I thought I came here to sleep." Karaya smiled. "Then sleep now, you are safe." James looked up at the stars, felt her warmth beside him. He had come to Theta 9 with no plans, no dreams, just a need to rest. But now, he had something else, something more, a home, a mate, a future. The wolves of Theta 9 had given him a name, a place, and a bond that no war could break. He whispered, "I'm not leaving." Karaya purred softly. "Good, because I won't let you as the twin moons shined above." A human and a wolf alien slept side by side, breathing the same rhythm, dreaming the same dream. And somewhere deep in the forest, the heart tree pulsed once, slow, gentle, as if smiling.